Hi, it's Scott from Zoden Guitars. Just another build update on the little Carvin. Right at the moment, we just want to take you through a little bit in regards to what's going on with the bridge posts on this guitar. In the first video, if you can remember or if you have watched it, I hope you have. If you haven't, that's okay. The bridge posts were a little bit out of center as far as the strings weren't sitting right and center on the neck. So I've done a little bit of a visual thing here so you can pick it up a little bit easier. Now I put the two posts in just to give you an idea where they sit. And what I've done is the edge of the tape here is actually the center line of the guitar. So if I zoom out, I've taken a straight line off the neck all the way through, done the same thing on the other side, done a center line, basically picked it up, double checked it off the center line of the center dots, and just draw a line through all the way through as my center line of the guitar. Now that's the true center of the guitar. So what I've done is I've actually put a bit of tape on here. So the edge of the tape is actually the center line of the guitar. So in between these two posts here, we've got 68 mil. So I've set the my verniers here to 34, just to give you an idea where we're at with the center of. So you can see here the strings were a little bit too close on the big E. So you can see here that we're slightly off center. Now if I put it back on, sorry, I'm working through my camera here. So you can see there the center line is over the yellow tape, or the orange tape, sorry. So what it says to me is what we saw on the first video is the string was too close to this edge of the fretboard. So basically the center between these two posts is there, and where the pencil line is. If I can, I'll grab my pencil. Sorry about the camera work. So this pencil line here is the center line of the bridges, where it sits at the moment, and where the edge of the tape is where the actual center line of the guitar is. So little movement, but I'm just going to fix it because I don't like the strings actually not being central on the guitar. So I'll just take these out. One hand on camera, one hand on screwdriver. So it's bound to end in disaster. I'm just enjoying a beer while I do this because it's been a long day at work. So up here with a bit of therapeutic guitar repairing. So I don't know if you can see the holes. They've been a bit flogged out. So what I'm going to do, I've got a drill bit here. So this drill bit's actually a little bit bigger in diameter. So what that's going to do is when I drill it out, it's going to, I don't want to do it exactly the same diameter, because what would happen is I'll still be left with the flogged out edge of the hole. So if I've got a drill bit here, which is exactly the right size, you can see, zoom in, you can see that there's a little bit of play in the top of the holes. So what I'm going to do is drill the bigger holes, and then when I put the plugs in, it'll look nice and neat. So speaking of the plugs, I made myself two plugs that will go in the holes. So what I did with this was just cut, this is actually a Western Australian black butt, very, very hard wood. So I don't have any maple with me at the moment. So what I've done is made the two posts out of black butt. Black butt's probably even harder than the maple, so you can hear it. It's so I'll plug these with these. So I'll drill the hole out. What I ended up doing was cutting out a 10mm by 10mm square section of the black butt, and then I thought I'll put it in the drill press and make a lathe out of my drill press, thinking, oh you beauty. But it was a 3-jaw chuck, so trying to put a 3-jaw chuck on a 4-face surface didn't kind of make sense. So I pretty much put it up inside the chuck on my drill press, locked it in, and then rough rounded one end, and you can see how rough rounded it is, and then just clamped it in the chuck, and then sanded it down, so it come out nice and round. They actually come out really good. So I'll put them in. So what I'm going to do now is basically drill the holes out to suit that diameter, plug the holes, and then I'll remark it. I've got some bridge posts on order, but they won't be in for another few days, so probably another Australia post. It's probably going to be another 10 days. So yeah, I'll get them in, fill them in. Yeah, so that's the latest update. So I'll get this sorted. Probably while I'm waiting for the bridge posts to come in, I'll look at doing a fret level on this and get the frets nice and level, get rid of these low spots, do a sand, start sanding the body. So I'll have a fair bit of work to do while I fill in the gaps between waiting for parts to come in. So I've got my colours, the concept colours in my head, how I want it to look. I'm just going to go to the paint shop and try and get the right the colour to match the image inside my head. So yeah, so that's where we're at, and I'll keep you updated as we go along. Right, as you can see, I've got the fluid sitting in position after I filled the holes in with some WA black butt. I've got it sitting, I've got them marked, but I haven't got them drilled out as yet because I don't have the bushings. I just want to double check the size. I'm pretty sure it's either a 3/8 or a 10mm hole. So until I get the bushing, I'm just going to have to wait and suck it and see, and then drill the correct size hole. So hopefully you can see where I've marked it. See, I've got a center pop. So they're sitting center at the moment. So I'll just try and do this with the camera and the ruler. So you can see now I've got it, and it's just sitting probably about, can I say, about 1.5mm in from the edge of this block just here. And on the other side, if I sit it along the neck, you can see there now it's sitting about the same distance away from the block there, where another about a 1.5mm. So now it's pretty much sitting dead center. So if I put it actually down, this is very difficult with one hand. So I'll just get the rule down the middle. So you can see it's pretty much sitting over that center set screw that's holding the block on. So very pleased with the alignment. So if I keep it and drill those holes out where they are at the moment, the block's going to be nice and central. So I've checked it at the 3 points. The unfortunate thing is I can't do anything more until I get the bushings that'll sit in inside the guitar. So there's the holes that I've filled. So they've got a bit of black on there because of paint transfer, but yeah, they filled in really, really nice. So what I'm going to do now is I've actually got a marker pen. I've pulled the tape back a little bit, just tighten the nut up a little bit. So I've got this outline pen, and I've marked the top of the frets with a black outline pen. I don't know if it's picking it up in the light, probably is. And now what I'm going to do, so I'm actually going to dress it, and I've used this whenever I dress frets. It's a Jarrah block with a dead straight face on it. What I do is put some double-sided tape, and I've got some wet and dry paper on it. I think it's about 600 grit, and I find that grit's really, really nice. It doesn't take chunks out of the frets, and I find with a long block, it's very hard to have low spots on the guitar. So what I'll do is I'll go over these frets a couple of times with the block, and then I'll come back with another video just with a little update on where the low points are and the areas of concern are. So yeah, I'll update you shortly. I've done a number of passes now. See in the light. Still got a couple of slightly low points. You can see just here, but it should be okay because I've got to refile the sides of these frets now and redress and round them back off. So I think I'll get out of jail. So you can see just little points like this. By the time I file the frets down and recap them and re-round them off, I should be all good to go. So my main concern was fret number 2. This little bad boy just here. Very hard to pick up on the camera. It took a little bit of work to get that one to come good. So when I do use this block, you can see it's quite a hefty block. I always try and do it so it goes not down the middle of the fretboard like that all the time, but if it's on the edge of the board, I actually try and go in the line of the strings. And the beauty of having the wet and dry paper on the block is it's not aggressive, so you can just work your way slowly. So you can see here on the edge, I'll try and go in line with the edge of the fretboard. Now obviously I've got a 14-inch fretboard, so as I work along and as I go in the middle, you don't want to sand flat spots in it. So even as I'm going here, you can see my block is not running parallel down the middle. I'll run it down like that, down the middle, I'll give it a go there, and then I'll bring it back the other way. So it's not a matter of running it down like this. You don't want to run it down like that because that's no good. What you want to do is run actually in line with where your strings would go, and it gives you a nice flat fretboard. So I'll see if I can get this on camera. It's probably not going to work, but the frets on this thing now are dead level. They've come out really good. So I do this a lot. It's how I do every fretboard, and they always come out good. So I've got some, what's going on here? I've got some shellac there, so I'll turn the camera around. This stuff here I use for wiping over and getting rid of grease off everything. So I'll give the fretboard a wipe over with the shellac, clean all the dust off, then I'll tape it off, and then I'll start filing it off. So I've taped off the fretboard now. As you can see, fun process. The reason why there's different coloured tapes is because I've got different width tapes. So that's the only reason why there is a different colour on the fretboard. So what we do now, or what I do now, is I get my marker, and basically as I re-go over the top of each fret. I'm hoping I'm getting this on camera and drawing accurate at the same time. So pretty simple process. You remark them, because what's actually effectively happened, because I've pressed them down, is I've actually flattened off the top of the fret, so they need to be re-crowned now, which is probably my least favourite part, to be honest, but it's got to be done. So now I've blackened all those off. I've got a file, and then what you've got to basically look to do is start dressing them down, and what I want to see is like a nice fine line down the middle of each fret. So I'm not going to start it right just now. I've got other things to do, but it's ready to go. Oh, get the camera back on. It's ready to go once I do kick into gear. So I've got another file here, which is a little bit more aggressive, but I've rounded off the bottom so it doesn't scratch the fretboard. So I'll go do them first. Got my Dremel, so we're going to polish the frets. Looks like a little brush on my Dremel's not gripping anymore, so let's see what I can do. Nope, change your brush. New brush fitted. It's the only one I've got left, so hopefully it goes alright. it up. There it is. It's wearing out quite quickly. I'll have to see if I've got another one left. This one's pretty much cactus already. That's a bit disappointing. Let's see what I've got left. Ah, Eureka, I've got another one. Not envisaging this will last too long. Right. Probably need to just give them one more polish once I've finished and done everything. But as you can see, they're nice and flat now. They're rounded off. I just don't know if it's I'm gonna get a good line down the fretboard. Do it this way, but yeah, they're nice and flat. Not perfect. I'm going to have to get in a couple of new buffing wheels and just take them down one more. There's just some real light scratching in just in the surfaces, so I'll give it another buff once I finished everything off. But the frets are level now. It's probably only one spot, just I don't know if you can pick it up, just there. I might just attend to, so I might just spot check that one. And yeah, pretty happy with it. So yeah, there we are. Frets are level and crowned. Probably give them one more polish just before we finish, and we should be done.